The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
Hey, welcome everybody to Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans for allowing me to give you two shows a week. Sunday night, 8:10 to 10:10 p.m. and on Tuesday nights from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. So tonight is a 1 hour show, okay? Couple announcement right after my show tonight at 9:15 Eastern. We have the Gateway Podcast with my dear friend C.L. Thomas and her ghost and her guest is Courtney Melville. I don't know, but they're going to talk about Civil War ghost, which I think will be a very interesting show for her. So whenever you're done with mine, please go on over to her show and give her some love. Hey, Kevin, I'm going to get to you right now this instant and read what you have written. Okay, so hi, Kevin. Hi, Heidi. Hey, Cindy. Good to see you. Hey, Squatchman. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for popping on tonight. So my dear friend Kevin, he wrote this. It's a quick share. He says, hold on. He says, at work, they had a flip mirror on stand-on staff table and another on the wall. So the mirrors were facing one another. The kitchen exit door was in use, opening and letting a ray of sun in. I noticed the reflex from both mirrors to the translucent half distance from the mirrors. A white circle was forming as I froze in place in awe. That's interesting, buddy. Of all of this, then, as I snapped out of my trance-like state, I proceeded to turn the table mirror away from facing wall mirror, and the light show I was seeing dissipated. I asked the staff if they were trying to open a portal, either the mirrors facing one another like that. They laughed, but I know the seriousness of it. Two mirrors facing each other can definitely open a portal. Wanted to share. Thank you for sharing that, buddy. I truly appreciate it. But that's what tonight's topic about: mirrors, the myth about mirrors. Are mirrors haunted? Are mirrors to do mirrors? Can you go to another dimension with mirrors? Um, I believe so. I have no doubt in my mind. But to start off the show, okay, I have this in order through my AI. So I got a story about that, Kevin, later on in the show about that. In the 1800s, mirror making shifted dramatically from the dangerous tin mercury amalgam process used for centuries to the modern chemical silvering method invented by German chemist Justus von Liebig in 1835. Craftsman laid a flat sheet of tinfoil on a smooth table and poured liquid mercury over it, creating a shimmering tin mercury mixture. A clean glass was slid carefully over the liquid mixture, and heavy weights were placed on top of to squeeze out the excess mercury. Now, everybody knows when you work with mercury, it is dangerous. Really, really dangerous. In fact, I know that some places out west, when you go gold prospecting, there's some rivers where you cannot eat the fish um, from the rivers because back in the 1800s when they were doing gold prospecting, uh, what happened was the mercury would get in the water because that's what they used was mercury, and you just can't eat the fish. You can't even drink the water because mercury is very, very, very dangerous. Scrying mirrors, Sean, a possibility. I have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight about the mirrors. Hey, Amelia, good to see you. Thank you for popping in. The glass sat under weights for weeks or months while the metals bonded to the back of the glass. This process was highly toxic and dangerous to the artisans. I'm doing great, Amelia. How are you? Justus von Liebig discovered that adding sugar or other reducing agents to the analytical silver nitrate solution caused metallic silver to precipitate out. Heidi says recently she was taught to use mirrors when protecting oneself. Wow, that's something interesting. I never heard of that one before, Heidi. My day's great, Amelia. My day. How about yours? The liquid solution was poured directly onto clear glass sheets. There, a thin, uniform layer of pure metallic silver chemically bonded to the surface. And once the silver layer dried and set, a protective backing of paint or shellac was applied over the metal to prevent scratching and flaking. Pretty interesting. But that's how they did mirrors back then. That's how they made mirrors, right? So the whole deal behind that is I wanted to share it with you. Hey, Kara, good to see you. Um, so we did. There's a castle down in Brownsville, PA. Okay, and it's called the Nemacolin Castle. And if you want to know more about the Nemacolin, hey, Scouse, um, you want to know more about the Nemacolin Castle, you know what you do? You just Google it and read up on it because it was pretty interesting. Now, the deal why I brought up the Nemacolin Castle, okay, is because I do believe I was the first paranormal group to actually investigate Nemacolin Castle, and that was back in 2006, 2007, something around there, like it when we first started. Hey, Joni, good to see you, hon. So, and this is where the mirrors, and I have a couple other mirror stories from the investigations that I've done. But Nemacolin Castle, also known as Bowman's Castle, was built in stages starting in the late 18th century, with the original trading post and core structure established around 1786 to 1789 by Jacob Bowman. Now, the reason why again, like I said, so nobody runs away, the reason why Nemacolin Castle was so big, and it was during Christmas time, and it looked so beautiful because they dressed it up in lights, all kinds of flowers, all kinds of poinsettias. It looked really, really cool. And I'll share a little bit about the investigation from Nemacolin as the show goes on. The construction timeline. In 1780, Jacob Bowen built the original log trading post on the site in Brownsville, Pennsylvania. In the early 1800s, the first permanent residential portion of the house was constructed around the old trading post. In the 1850s, Nelson Bowman, Jacob's son, significantly expanded the home, adding a Victorian wing and a distinctive Gothic revival and Italianate brick towers that gave the estate its castle-like appearance. In 1875 to 1880, a final bracketed gable roof study was added by the family. Okay. Now, Nemacolin at the time was very, very, very freaky haunted, man. Okay. And when we went there to investigate it, there was one room in the house. No, two rooms. Two of them were bedrooms. And the one bedroom was the ghost of a little girl who used to hang out in this room. Okay. And what was really creepy about it, and that creeped me out, it creeped everybody in the group out when this happened. Okay. So we're sitting there, doing investigation things. And all of a sudden, there was a rocking horse. I mean, this sucker was old, an old rocking horse. And it started to move. And we're like, wow, look at this. This is crazy. And it was moving. And no one was on that rocking horse. But see, at that time, paranormal investigating was in its infancy, and we really didn't have the equipment that they have now today. Because if we had the equipment now today, back then, we would actually caught that on video. So another group member came into the door, and we were telling him, look at this, look at this. And he told whoever, hey, Robert, good to see you, buddy. And he told whoever was sitting on the rocking chair, the rocking horse, to go faster. And it went faster. It was so crazy, everybody. It was so crazy. Hey, Tara, good to see you. Kevin says, I was taught to have a mirror close to your door so one, you can check yourself on the way out. Two, it reflects back unwanted out there energies. True. Miss you too, Tara. Miss you too. I'm hoping Mirror's life is doing good for you, Tara. Doing good. But so we're watching this rocking horse go back and forth. And there were dolls all over this room. John caught they open in. Pretty good people. I'm just happy now. But so in this bedroom of this little girl, as the horse was rocking, after it stopped rocking, okay, there was dolls all over this bedroom. And I'm telling you, as you all know, when it comes to dolls, man, I don't like dolls. They really creep me out. Just like clowns, they creep me out. I mean, I can go into the most demonic house out there, and I would not have a problem. I wouldn't. But you put me in a room full of dolls, Say, Facey Ace, okay, you put me in a room full of dolls at a house, forget it, I'm gone. I'm not. I'm not. I can't. I don't know. I've had that. I don't know what the fear is called, but I cannot deal with dolls, especially porcelain dolls. They are really, really creepy. Now, I'm sure a lot of my listeners out there have porcelain dolls and they have dolls and they probably love them. Well, I'm happy that you love them, but uh, not me. Now, I remember one time we did a investigation down at Prospect Place, and somebody, we were going home, and somebody threw a Charlie McCarthy doll on my front seat. No shit. And I opened up my door and I'm looking at Charlie McCarthy and I'm like, oh hell. And I was like, that was a good one. But I took Charlie McCarthy and I put him in my trunk. And that's where he stayed until I gave it back. Lucas, go get a job. I have one, buddy. I have one. Yeah. So whenever, but eventually I got Charlie. No one would tell me who put it in there and whose doll it was. So eventually, what happened was I found out and I gave it back to them. But when I saw Charlie McCarthy, who door, um, it was just crazy. So just had to catch my breath there a little bit. So back to Nemacolin Castle. So these dolls are over the bed, all over the room, and some of them began to move. No shit, on the bed. They just moved. Hey, Randy, good to see you, buddy. And honest to Pete, um, I had to leave. I had to leave because the dolls were moving on the bed, and I never went back into that room. But from what I understand and what I learned later on was that was the little girl. I forget what she died from, but she died, and she just haunts that room all the time. A lot of people, besides us, witnessing what about the rocking horse and the dolls, we're not the only ones that you know realize that. They would have tours that would go through the house during Christmas, and she would put a performance on for the people on the tours. Yes. So yeah, it is sad face. It was sad. Um, but she seemed to be having a good time. So Kevin says when he was babysitting back in the day, watching Child's Play, where bed lights were low. Don't even go with the Chucky doll, man. Don't even go there, dude. No, don't even go there, dude. Mm-mm. Nope. But so we went and we investigated another room, and this is where the mirror story kicks in. Okay. So Nemacolin was built back in 1780, something like that. And so there was this mirror there in this room. And it was one of them old time mills. It had mirrors. It had the tinfoil on the back of it. You know, tinfoil on the back of this mirror. And nothing of it. We were all taking pictures of the mirror of the rooms. There was some evidence going on. There was some paranormal activity. Nothing big. Nothing big at all. Until the next day, I get a call from the group member who took a picture. Well, he took a picture of the mirror. Okay. And in the lower left-hand corner of this mirror, we saw a little girl holding a puppy. I shit you not. It was like embedded into this mirror. Seriously, it was embedded. It was a little girl holding this puppy. You could see it was like a perfect outline of the girl and the dog. It was unbelievable. So we were all confused. We were all puzzled. We were like, how in the hell did this happen? How can this happen? And so at the time, when we really didn't understand what mirrors were about, okay, we didn't understand. We figured that the little girl was sitting in front of the mirror, and a bright light, hey Ann, a bright light like from lightning or something flashed into the room, and and for some reason it got embedded into the mirror. Yeah. And so we looked it up, and there's no way that anything like that could embed a picture on a mirror. There's no way. So we're like, ooh, there's a ghost. Could it be a ghost? We don't know. But the next, like usually whenever we investigated, okay, we would go back in a week and we would show the people what evidence we got. You did that. And so we went back there. We went up to the room where we saw the girl with the dog in the lower left-hand corner of the mirror. And it was still there. Okay, it was still there. It wasn't a ghost reflecting. When we took that picture, the picture that we caught is exactly the same picture that was there, same face, and same dog right there in the bottom left-hand corner. I mean, if you were an artist and you etched this into a glass, you're damn good. I mean, we had no theories on anything on what made that happen. Now, we haven't been back to the Nemacolin Castle because they don't want us down there. In fact, they really don't want no more paranormal investigators down there. But that picture of that girl and that dog in the mirror just like totally blew us away. Totally. But as we go on, that's why I brought up Nemacolin. Okay, but we're going to be going on a break. We're at the bottom of the hour. And I know my hour shows go by real quick. But I have a question to ask you. And while we're on break, let's see if you can answer this. Okay, I would like to hear your answers before we move on. If a ghost sees himself in a mirror, does he think he's a ghost? Let me repeat that if I say it right. If a ghost look at himself in the mirror, does he think, or she, he or she is a ghost? So we're going to go do our little break, come back, and then we'll continue with the show. And I would like to hear your answers on it. Okay, so go smoke a cigarette, drink a Coke, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do, and I will see you back in a couple minutes.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Into the Night on Tuesday night, 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. I lost my train of thought reading all the wonderful comments here in the chat on my question there. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week, Sunday nights from 8:10 to 10:10 p.m. and on Tuesday nights from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. And please remember, at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Johnny. The Gateway podcast with my dear friend, Miss C.L. Thomas. She has a guest on. I know her, Courtney. I cannot pronounce that last name. Thanks, Kevin. Courtney McInvale, I guess, and they're going to talk about Civil War ghosts. So that should be a very interesting show. So before we went on break, I asked the question, and there's no definite answer on this. It's just one of them, things that make you go, type of question, So I said real quick, if a ghost sees himself in the mirror, does he or she think they are a ghost? And I got a couple of responses here. From Heidi, she said, I would say if the soul remembers, which I believe it does, then it would know it's neither. Okay, good one there, Heidi. Joni says, no, he doesn't, because ghosts don't know that they are dead. That's a good one. That's a good one there. And Kevin says, excuse me, I wonder if the ghost could see itself in the mirror. Kevin says, I am not sure about this one, Sean. He may see himself as a live person, or maybe ghosts looking seen through like we see him. Not sure. Isn't that kind of interesting thing? Patrick brought that up to me. Patrick is my brother. And he brought that question up to me a long time ago. And, there's no definite answer what it is, but I'd like to hear, whenever I bring that question up, and it's very rarely that I do, I'd like to hear people's responses. So everybody out there, Joni, Kevin, Heidi, thank you very much for responding to that. I truly appreciate it. Now, second part, okay. Thank you, Heidi. Heidi loves the question and the answer. Now, a little bit more mirrors. Are mirrors a portal to another dimension? Do spirits actually live in the mirrors? And so it brings up the biggest old folklore, people covering their mirrors at night. Okay. Now, anybody out there, in UPRN land, or people in the chat, have you ever put a blanket over your mirror at night? Or do you know of anyone who have done it? But people cover mirrors at night due to traditional folklore, spiritual beliefs, and psychological comfort. Many cultures view mirrors as portals to the spirit world that become active after dark, while others use the practice to block unsettling shadows or reflections when half asleep. Joni says, isn't that Shiva? That's the Jewish people do when someone dies. You know, I really don't know about that, Joni. I don't know that question. I don't have an answer, and I'm sorry, my friend. Now, the spiritual and folklore beliefs, the portal folklore, many global traditions view mirrors as gateway for spirits, ghosts, or negative entities that open or weaken at night. Goodbye. Okay. All right, X. Old superstitions warn that a sleeping person's soul could wander out and get trapped inside a reflective surface. Mourning customs, while typically done following a death. Yes, it is, Johnny. I just got it right here. They just said it. Such as during Jewish Shiva or various European folk traditions, some households historically extend mirror covering habits as a general protective measure against bad luck. Kevin says, I don't keep mirrors facing one another, and bathroom has a mirror, but light stays on in there. So I don't need to cover the only two mirrors I keep. Okay, that's cool, Kev. Some architectural and spiritual guidelines suggest avoiding mirrors that face a bed or covering them up to prevent restless sleep or anxious energies. Scout says, I have thought of buying an antique/vintage mirror at some point. Go for it. Go for it. Buy it. You will be surprised. I got some tips on about mirrors for investigations. Okay, the psychological and practical reasons here. The strange face illusion, staring back into a dim, shadowy mirror in low light, can trick the brain, causing mild visual distortions or hallucinations that trigger fear. Waking up suddenly in the middle of the night and catching a glimpse of a moving shadow or silhouette in the glass can trigger an unnecessary fight or flight response. Light disruptions. Covering a mirror blocks unwanted nighttime reflections from streetlights, headlights, or moonbeams that might otherwise disrupt sleep. So that's why they cover them up. Personally, me, I don't cover my mirrors up. I think they're like really, really neat, and it's funny. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and get something to drink, and I'll sit on my bed and I just look into the mirror. And I have a little flashlight that I put on, and I just want to see if there's anybody in there. I look when I go, to the bathroom, and I look into the mirror as I'm washing my hands. I just look in the mirror. I'm like, okay. Even if I watch like a scary movie or something like that, I don't get the jitteries, man. I don't do it. And then they have that one mirror where if you say this name 3 times, Bloody Mary, Mary's going to show up. One Bloody Mary never showed up. So I don't think that is kind of really legit. But to me, looking in mirrors, especially during an investigation, is where I've got a lot of good evidence. Okay. Kevin says, yep, I agree. Mirrors in a bedroom, bad idea. Had a big one once and you would see images in it like watching TV. Oddly, I would lay there and just watch the show. Hey, why not? I mean, they're not going to hurt you. Ghosts ain't going to hurt you. You know, especially if you know what's happening, then like Kevin would say, was just watch the show. And I did that a couple of times. But, you know, getting back to where Kevin was talking about at the beginning of the show, where he is facing two mirrors together. Okay. And what you do, face two mirrors looking at her. Okay. And then once that happens, you start taking pictures right down in between the two mirrors. And you can actually capture mist. You can actually capture ghosts go from one mirror to the other. Now, y'all know that when I say something, it's not, you know, it's not bullshit. It ain't a story. It's the truth. And wherever we went, okay, wherever we went to investigate, I would always do that. I would go into a bedroom and start snapping pictures at mirrors from all different angles. And people thought I was weird by doing it. But I wasn't weird. I'm weird now, but I wasn't back then. But I was just so surprised at on how much stuff that I caught by shooting at mirrors. Kevin says right in the middle is where the sun was hotting and where I saw the portal start forming. Cool, dude. You just put the two mirrors together like that and you shoot right down the middle. Okay? And anybody can do it. So if you want to be brave, you know, and see if you have any spirits that are in your mirrors, put them facing each other and shoot right down the middle. So it brings up why are people what's so bad about having if the mirror is a portal to the other world? Okay. What if it is? What's so scary about it? Why would it creep you out? Because the ghosts aren't there to hurt you. They're not there to harm you. They're just traveling from one universe to the middle, to the other. Okay. Now my ears are ringing really bad. Real bad. And my right ear is really bad. So I'm trying to talk while listening to this ringing. So another, you know, I brought it up a couple times ago, a couple shows ago, to where you're at the R&R Hotel. And I took a picture, I think it was me or somebody else, took a picture down the hallway, okay? And we caught a figure in the mirror. And so when we got the picture, we put it on the computer. And what we did was we enlarged. I mean, we really, you know, brought it in. And it was actually a top part of a man with a face, with a mustache. And we showed it to the owner of the R&R. And she nearly had a heart attack. She really did. And then she brought out a picture of the man who used to own the R&R Hotel. And she put that picture right next to the picture we caught into the mirror. Okay. And they were exactly alike. It was same suit too. No shit. Same suit. But the face, the build, the whole 9 yards. That person in the picture and then the person in the mirror are exactly the same. So we took 2 pictures of that, and the one we took it like at the other end of the hall or halfway down. And when you see the picture, there is nobody standing in front of that mirror. Okay, no one's standing, but the the ghost is there. So it's like it was very, very interesting. And like I said before, I really do believe that mirrors are part of a portal. Johnny says it's not scary, but how does a person get back if they go through the portal? Um, I I don't know. I know the ghost can do it. I don't think a human being would want to go through a portal. But I'm glad you brought that up, Joni. There were a couple places that when we went and did some places down along the Youghiogheny River, um, there were times we actually went into a portal. No shit. It was weird. You could tell the difference. Kevin said, I had some large spider like thing come through a portal out of my living room. I'll scratch my coffee table, break a candle holder with a mug, and scathe my cats. I filled room with white light, pushed it back, and closed the portal. There you go. Now that would be creepy. I like spiders, but not big ass ones, you know. And the Lakota Sioux, I do believe they're healers. They use healing spiders, and they're called ikomis, Ikomis, ikomis. And you should read up on them because they're really, really interesting healing spiders. Yes. But the creepiest picture I ever caught in a mirror, that I ever caught in a mirror, we were up in Leechburg, Pennsylvania. And we went to this farmhouse. Okay. I mean, this thing was out and it was a farm. And so the story behind the house was everything felt real negative in this house. People were missing stuff, loud noises in the middle of the night. And it really creeped out the family that was there. Okay. And so we went and we investigated it. It was a bad one. And in fact, someone from my group got, I mean, something walked through inside and stayed there for a while. And it was terrible. What I'm trying to get at is I went down because they had a bedroom basement. I'm sitting on the bed and and I started taking pictures of the window, the mirror. The mirror. And so nothing of it. I think I took about 30 pictures into the mirror. And then I went home, and the next day I brought it up on my computer screen. And if I find this picture, I have so many damn pictures, CDs. I have like 4 laptops that still have pictures on them. But if I find it, I'm going to show you guys it. So I'm sitting there up in Eaton Park having a cup of coffee, because that's what we used to do after investigations. Went to Eaton Park the next day and drank coffee. Buck says, hey, Buck Brown, good to see you, buddy. Hello, thanks as always. Some mirrors made of black obsidian truthfully reflect things about yourself, whether you can accept it or like it or not. Quartz crystals project things more than they reflect. Why, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that, Bob. Hey, CL, good to see you, buddy. Kevin says, love the taking pics in the mirror and examining them later, Sean. Oh, yeah, you had to, because we didn't get home till 3, 4 in the morning, and I had to go to work. And so we would go after work and we would sit at Eaton Park and look at the pictures. But back to this picture. So we're going through and I just like almost fell out of the booth. No shit. Scared the living heebie jeebies out of me. And this is, it really, really did. So I'm looking at the picture and I saw a goat's head. A goat. A goat. No horns. A goat's face. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And so my mind's ain't playing no tricks on me, nothing at all. So I drank some more coffee, and like, I said, guys, look at this. So they were looking. There's a goat face. And as you look closer to that picture, that goat face had on a suit with a tie. I mean, and we're just like freaking out. We're spazzing out because there ain't no way that it was just getting creepier and creepier and creepier. So you saw this goat's face. You saw the goat wearing a suit jacket with a tie. But here's the crazy part. When you looked at the arms of this goat in this suit, okay, there were human heads in both arms, like that. No shit. There were human heads. So there was a picture of a goat in a suit jacket and tie holding human heads. Yes. I showed that picture everywhere. People were freaking out. Freaking out. I'm like, damn. It was as plain as day. We never did go back to that place. And I think they tore the house down because it just got really, really bad up there. Oh, it did give me the chills, Kevin. Oh my God, it did. It gave everybody the chills. Even the waitresses at Eaton Park gave them the chills. Even their customers were looking at it and it gave them the chills. A goat's face with a suit jacket tied with human heads in each arm. Oh my gosh. It was terrible. I hope and I pray that I find that picture because I will show it to you guys. But so that's why I brought up the mirror subject tonight. Just to change up everything. Just to see, little synchronicities. I like that word. Heidi taught me that word, synchronicities. But I don't know. It was just amazing on what during my investigations that I caught at mirrors. Oh, I'd love to see it too. Yeah, creepy, Heidi. It was creepy as hell. Thank you, Kevin. Cindy, I'd love to see the picture too. I got to find it. If I have to spend money to get it, I will take all my computers and get the hard drive and get all the pictures out of it. But there's only one good thing. There's one good thing about mirrors. And I want you to know about this, everybody. If you can do this one thing, and it took me a long time to do this, but I'm sure you guys try it. You got to like it. So when you wake up in the morning and you go to the bathroom, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and just see how beautiful of a person you are. Look into the mirror and say, I am a beautiful person that's looking back at me. I do it all the time. It's hard. Trust me, it's hard. But to me, that's the greatest thing in the world with having a mirror. looking at yourself and telling yourself that you are a beautiful person. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Well, we got a little bit more time here. All right, so thank you, Johnny. Thank Kevin, Cindy, the lizard man face. Donna, good to see you, hon. Good to see you. So everybody, I'm just going to pull one card tonight, and then we'll get to the ending because we're going to get ready for CL show. Maybe I'll draw a quick 3 or whatever. Thank you, Heidi. Yes, look at yourself in the mirror and tell your and say, I'm a beautiful person. That's all you have to say. I'm a beautiful person, and look in the mirror because you're looking back. It is. It works. It really. Thank you, Heidi. It really works. So I'm cutting the cards real quick. It's going to be a quickie. So here we go, real quick. I am, oh my God, Cindy, I hope you're still here. Look what I drew. I drew the lizard card. Oh my God, is that something? Okay, the lizard. I have to look this up real quick. No shit. She saw the lizard man. I got to read this up. Okay, it won't take me long. I'll send you Lakota. Be safe out there. Be out safe. I'll send Lakota with you. He'll help you out. I have to look this up. Good luck tonight, there, Donna. Lizard 181. Okay. I have to look this up. This is crazy. Cindy said. That's crazy. Okay, here we go. The lizard is dreaming. Oh, wow. This is cool. This is for everybody. This is why the lizard card came up, and this is why Cindy, this one's for you. Lizard's dreaming. Okay. Let's see here. Lizard is the medicine of dreamers. Whether dreamers smoke you or dream you, smoke you. Dreamers can always help you see the shadow. The shadow can be your fears, your hopes, or the very thing you are resisting. But it always following you around like an obedient dog. If Lizard dreamed a space in your cards today, it may be time to look and see what is following along behind you. Is it your fears, your future, trying to catch up to you? Or is it the part of you that wants to ignore your weaknesses and humaneness? Lizards may be telling you to pay attention to your dream and their symbols. Make a dream log and record all that you remember. Be sure to pay attention to each individual symbol or recurring pattern. If you do not remember your dreams, you music alarm for 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. A log before bedtime and allow your bladder to wake you up. Dreams are very important. Pay attention to them. And that's for everybody. Dreams are very important. Dreams are very important, and pay attention to them. Well, that's tonight's show. I hope everybody had a good time. Thank you, Kevin. Next week, I have, let me see if I can find it. Next week, I will have Kelly Smith. I will have Kelly Smith as a guest next Sunday. She is, she also known as Earth Song. Her Native American has a very, as she describes, as contact and communication with an interdimensional beings. That's so cool. So next Sunday, I'm going to have my friend Kelly Smith come on, and we're going to talk about interdimensional things and alien abductions and stuff like that. And on the 25th, I have my friend Maximum Furyk come on, and we're going to talk about his new book. Okay? So, children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, tell them you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you don't have a parent, don't have a child, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. Everybody have a nice week. Remember, protect the children and always follow your path. Good night, everybody. See you next week.